Why masturbation is healthy. But 3 mistakes can leave you limp, urologist explains. I'm here to answer all your questions. Have you ever had one of those quiet afternoons where you find yourself thinking back to younger days? Maybe you're sipping your tea or reading the paper, and a thought crosses your mind. Things just don't feel the same down there anymore. It's not a topic we often bring up over dinner or even with close friends. But here's the truth. You're not alone. Many men, and yes, women too, over 60 wonder about intimacy, sexual health, and those private moments they've shared with themselves for years. Now, you might smile at the word masturbation. It's a word we all know, but let's be honest, it doesn't always get spoken about openly, especially as we get older. But here's something I want to say right at the start. It's completely natural, and for many people, it's actually an important part of staying healthy. Yes, even after 60, 70 or beyond. 60, 70 or... You see, as a urologist, I get asked a lot of questions about this topic. Things like, is it still good for me? Or, could I be hurting myself if I do it too often? There's a lot of confusion out there, and even some outdated ideas. That's why I wanted to make this video for you today. I want to help clear things up in a warm, honest, and hopefully easy to understand way. In this conversation, we're going to talk about why masturbation can be healthy as you age, but also, here's the key, 3 common mistakes that can actually leave you feeling worse instead of better. And nobody wants that. Let's start with why this is worth talking about. After 60, many things change. Hormones shift, energy levels might dip. Blood flow isn't quite what it used to be. That includes blood flow to intimate areas as well. Regular sexual activity, including masturbation, helps keep those tissues healthy. It keeps the blood moving, maintains sensation, and can even help with things like sleep and stress. For some, it's a form of self-care. It's a moment to relax and feel good. But here's where things can go sideways. When old habits don't quite match what your body needs today. The first mistake I want to share with you is what I like to call overdoing it. I've seen this happen more times than I can count. Someone might think, if a little is good, then more must be better. That kind of thinking made sense when we were 20 or 30. Back then, recovery was fast. But as we age, our bodies need more time. Think of it like exercise. A good walk around the block makes you feel refreshed. But if you push too hard, let's say a 5-mile jog when you're not used to it, you'll end up sore, maybe even hurt. Masturbation works the same way. Too much can lead to fatigue, tenderness, or even inflammation. I've had gentlemen tell me they felt drained for the rest of the day, or they noticed swelling where there shouldn't be. So how much is too much? There's no magic number, but I usually suggest paying attention to how your body feels afterward. If you feel relaxed, satisfied, and ready to carry on with your day, you're probably in a good zone. But if you feel overly tired or sore, that's a signal to ease back a little. Just like you wouldn't lift weights until your arms give out, don't push yourself in private moments either. Now, let's move into the second mistake. One that surprises a lot of folks. Using the wrong technique. You might not think about this, but as we get older, our skin becomes thinner and more sensitive. What might have felt fine decades ago could now lead to irritation. I often explain it like this. When you buy a new pair of shoes, they might be stiff at first, but your feet adjust. As you age, though, your feet become more sensitive, and suddenly those same shoes cause blisters. In the same way, rough handling or using too much pressure while masturbating can cause small tears or irritation. It doesn't feel serious at first, but over time it can lead to discomfort or even infections. I've had patients tell me they thought they had a urinary infection, but it was actually just skin irritation from being a bit too forceful. The simple fix? Be gentle. Adjust your technique to match how your body feels today. not how it used to feel years ago. And don't be shy about using lubrication. Many men over 60 assume that's just for special occasions or romantic partners. But honestly, it's a smart choice for solo time too. A little bit of lubricant can prevent friction, reduce irritation, and make the whole experience smoother. It's worth mentioning here. Choose lubricants that are gentle and skin-safe. Avoid products with strong fragrances or alcohol, as those can dry out sensitive areas. There are plenty of options designed specifically for mature skin, and they're easy to find at most pharmacies or online. So, we've talked about not overdoing it, and we've talked about using the right technique. These first 2 points already make a big difference in keeping things healthy and enjoyable. You don't have to give up these private moments just because of age. In fact, keeping that part of your life active can be a real boost, not just physically, but emotionally too. I've had many older patients tell me that once they adjusted these simple habits, they felt more confident and even noticed improvements in other parts of their health. Better sleep, lower stress, and feeling just a little more connected to themselves. And isn't that what we all want as we move through these years? To feel in tune with ourselves, to enjoy life in all its forms, without discomfort or worry. Now, let's keep this conversation going. There's still one more common mistake I want to share with you, and it's one that often goes unnoticed until it's already causing trouble. But before we dive into that, take a moment to check in with yourself. Are any of these things sounding familiar? If so, don't worry. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just ready for a little adjustment to match the wisdom that comes with age. So, we've talked about not overdoing it and using the right technique. Now let's talk about that third mistake. It's one I see all too often, and it can quietly creep in without you even realizing it. Relying too much on habit and forgetting to stay present in the moment. What do I mean by that? Let me put it like this. After years of doing something the same way, it's easy to slip into autopilot. Whether it's making your morning coffee or folding the laundry, your body knows the motions by heart. The same thing can happen with masturbation. For many men, it becomes more about routine than pleasure, almost like a chore you check off rather than an experience to enjoy. And while routine might feel comfortable, it can actually lead to a loss of sensation, weaker erections, and less overall satisfaction. That sense of going through the motions can also affect your mental connection to the experience, making it feel hollow or even frustrating. I've had men tell me things like, "I don't get the same feeling I used to," or "It just doesn't work as well anymore." And yes, some of that is natural with age. Hormonal changes, as we mentioned earlier, play a part. But the truth is, a lot of it comes from treating those moments like a quick task instead of an intentional experience. Now, this might sound a little philosophical, but hear me out. Your brain is just as important as your body when it comes to intimacy. The mind-body connection doesn't fade with age. It simply needs more care. Being present in the moment can actually help maintain sensitivity, improve blood flow, and make those private moments more fulfilling. So how can you do that? Start by slowing down. Don't rush. Give yourself permission to take your time, maybe even create a calm setting. Some men find it helps to dim the lights, put on soft music, or simply make sure there are no distractions like the TV blaring in the background. It doesn't have to be fancy or complicated. The point is to treat the experience with care and attention. You can also try changing things up. If you've been using the same method or position for years, it might be time to experiment a little. Our bodies respond to variety. It keeps things fresh and helps avoid what we call sensory adaptation, where your nerves become less responsive because they're always getting the same kind of signal. Just like your taste buds can get bored of the same meal every night, your senses down below can benefit from something new now and then. Another thing that often gets overlooked, especially in older adults, is the importance of relaxing your mind. Stress plays a bigger role in sexual health than many people realize. When we carry tension, whether it's about health, finances, family worries, it can show up physically. For men, that often means softer erections or even trouble finishing. Being intentional about relaxation, whether through breathing exercises, light stretching, or simply giving yourself time away from stressful thoughts, can really help. I once had a patient in his late 60s tell me, "Doctor, I just can't seem to finish like I used to." We talked through his habits and health, and one thing stood out. He was always thinking about his to-do list, even during private moments. After we worked on helping him slow down, clear his mind, and stay present, he came back a few weeks later smiling. He said it made all the difference. It wasn't about magic pills or complicated techniques. It was about giving himself permission to really enjoy the moment again. Now, as we keep this conversation going, I want to pause and remind you of something important. There's no shame in caring about your own pleasure and well-being at any age. For some reason, our culture sometimes makes people over 60 feel like those parts of life are behind them. But they're not. Intimacy and self-connection don't have an expiration date. They just evolve. That's why I believe so strongly in sharing these kinds of conversations, because too often they get brushed aside. But you deserve to feel good in your body, to feel connected, and to feel confident. If you're sitting there wondering if any of this is too late for you, maybe you've gone years without really thinking about these things, I want you to know it's never too late to start paying attention again. Whether you're 60, 70, or well into your 80s, there's always room for a little more care, a little more enjoyment, and yes, a little more fun. It's like tending a garden. If you stop watering and caring for the plants, things get a little dry, a little stiff. But give them a little attention, some sunlight, some water, and they perk right back up. The same goes for your intimate health. So far, we've covered some really important ground. From not overdoing it, to adjusting your technique, and staying present in the moment. Each of these points is about listening to your body and treating it with the respect it deserves. But there's still more to share. There are a few additional things I think every man and woman over 60 should know when it comes to keeping those private moments healthy, comfortable, and enjoyable. Some are about mindset, others about simple habits. And they all come back to one main idea. You're in charge of how you care for yourself at any age. As we continue this conversation, I want to touch on something that often gets overlooked, especially as we get older. The importance of paying attention to your overall health when it comes to maintaining your intimate well-being. See, it's easy to think of things like erections, sensitivity, or drive as isolated issues, just about what's going on down there. But truly, it's all connected. Your heart health, your circulation, your mental well-being, all of these play a role in how you feel physically and emotionally, including during those private moments. I've met many men in their 60s and 70s who feel frustrated because they notice changes in their performance, so to speak. And very often when we sit down together and talk about it, we discover that things like high blood pressure, diabetes, or even poor sleep habits are playing a part. Masturbation and intimacy rely heavily on good blood flow. Without it, things simply don't function the same way. That's why taking care of your heart is also taking care of your sexual health. So if you're wondering how to make a real difference, not just adjusting technique or slowing down, but really supporting this part of your life, focus on the basics. Stay active, even if it's just a walk around the neighborhood each day. Make sure you're eating foods that help your heart and blood vessels. Fresh fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats. And don't forget about staying hydrated. It might seem like a small thing, but dehydration can affect your energy and performance more than people realize. Another area I want to gently bring up is medication. Many of us, as we age, take medications for various health conditions, blood pressure pills, antidepressants, and more. Some of these can have side effects that affect intimacy and arousal. If you've noticed changes after starting a new prescription, don't hesitate to speak with your doctor. It's a conversation worth having. There may be alternatives that work just as well for your health without affecting your intimate life. Now, here's something else I often encourage. Don't be afraid to seek help from a professional. It can feel awkward. Believe me, I understand that. But as a urologist, I can tell you that these conversations happen every day in my office. You are not the only one wondering about these things, and there's no judgment at all. Whether it's exploring options for erectile dysfunction, asking about hormone levels, or just getting advice on keeping things healthy, professional support can be incredibly valuable. One of the biggest gifts you can give yourself as you age is permission to keep learning, growing, and asking questions. Staying curious about your body and how it changes doesn't stop at 50 or 60. It continues as long as you do. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to bring everything together in a simple, natural way. First, we talked about not overdoing it, listening to your body's signals and respecting its pace. Second, we covered using the right technique, remembering that what worked decades ago might need adjusting now to match how your skin and sensitivity have changed. Third, we talked about staying present in the moment, treating those private times as something meaningful, not just routine. And now, we've added a layer. Remembering that your overall health, from heart to hormones, plays a vital role in how everything functions and feels. All of this ties back to a single important idea. You deserve to feel good in your body, no matter your age. There's no need to shy away from this topic or feel embarrassed. In fact, embracing it can open up a deeper sense of connection with yourself and, if you have a partner, with them too. I truly believe that small changes, whether it's slowing down, adjusting habits, or seeking out advice, can lead to big improvements in how you feel every day. You've earned the right to enjoy life fully, including this private, often quiet part of it. And if that means revisiting old habits with a little more thought and care, all the better. Now, I'd love to hear from you. If anything we've talked about today resonates with you, I invite you to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. You don't have to go into personal details. Just letting others know they're not alone can be powerful. And if you have questions or topics you'd like to hear more about, feel free to mention those too. This is a community where honest conversation is always welcome. If you found this video helpful or reassuring, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. We cover all sorts of topics aimed at living your best life after 60, whether it's health, habits, or simply navigating this new chapter with confidence and joy. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I know it's not always easy to talk about these things, but I hope you feel a little more informed, a little more confident, and most of all, reminded that you're not alone in this journey. Here's to living fully, feeling good, and staying connected to yourself at any age.